No, previous slides, Mohan. Yes.
Am I audible, Ananta?
Yes, Mohan.
Anand, my audio is clear, Anand?
Yes, Salabu, it is clear. It's 12:30 and we'll just wait for 2 more minutes for the attendees to join and we'll start the webinar. So, a very good morning to one and all. Thanks for taking your time to join this virtual event, and I welcome you all for this digital transformation webinar titled Transform, Empower, and Digitalize with SAP on Microsoft Azure. I am Anantha Krishnan, Marketing Executive from Kaar Technologies, and this virtual event is a joint effort from Kaar Technologies, a premium SAP partner in the Middle East, holding hands with Microsoft Azure for creating and spreading awareness on why do you need to adapt to SAP as an ERP along with SAP and Azure solutions that will also help you optimize your ERP hosted in the cloud using the latest security features, reliability, and scalable SAP certified infrastructure of Azure. So transform your business by leveraging the SAP on Microsoft Azure and accelerate the digitization to augment growth and stave off competition. This webinar will give you detailed insights on the following topics such as why SAP is an IT landscape for your business firm, the brief functionalities of SAP as an ERP, why SAP on Azure, and how will Kaar Technologies help you as an implementation partner. To just give an introduction to the speakers, I have Mr. Mohan Chandar, the country head of Qatar and Kuwait at Kaar Technologies. He has 12 plus years of experience working in different types of SAP assignments, performing multiple roles including SAP end-to-end project management in 6 plus major implementation projects, diversified across HANA, S4HANA, S4 S/4HANA, 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 S/4HANA,
Um, Ananta, are you there? Mr. Alagu, can you hear him?
Uh, no, Mohan.
I can't hear from my side as well.
All right,
Can you
I think
guys-
some interruption, guys.
Can you guys
Apologies.
hear me right now?
Yes,
Yes,
Ananta.
now we
Now we
can.
can hear you.
Okay. So, a very good morning to one and all. Thanks for taking your time to join this virtual event, and I welcome you all for this digital transformation webinar titled Transform, Empower, and Digitalize with SAP on Microsoft Azure. I am Anantha Krishnan, Marketing Executive from Kaar Technologies. This virtual event is a joint effort from Kaar Technologies, a premium SAP partner in the Middle East, holding hands with Microsoft Azure for creating and spreading awareness on why do you need to adapt to SAP as an ERP, along with SAP and Azure solutions that will help you optimize your enterprise resource planning hosted in the cloud using the latest security features, reliability, and scalable SAP certified infrastructure of Azure. This webinar will give you detailed insights on the following topics: why SAP as an IT landscape for your business firm, the brief functionalities of SAP as an ERP, why SAP on Azure, and Kaar Technologies as an implementation of for SAP on Azure. To just give an introduction to the speakers, I have Mr. Mohan Chandar. He's a country head of Qatar and Kuwait at Kaar Technologies. He has an experience of 12 plus he has a 12 plus years of experience working in different types of SAP assignments, performing multiple roles, including SAP end-to-end project management in 6 plus major implementation projects, diversified across HANA and all other enhancement modules as well. I have Mr. Jamal, who's the regional SMB cloud manager at Microsoft Azure, and he's having a 5 plus years of experience in the market. And he has also transformed the SMB market by driving cloud enablement for SMEs throughout the partner ecosystem. He's also led the major cloud transformation initiatives and partnerships, including SAP and Azure. And he is also a degree with bachelor's degree in business administration from the American University of Beirut. Prior to holding Joining Microsoft, he has also worked as a financial analyst at an investment bank in Lebanon. I have Mr. Alagu Gyanaguru, who's the third speaker. He's the senior solutions architect at Kaar Technologies, and he's heading the practice of infra and SAP basis. With over 13 plus years of experience in the IT, he's also a varied deployment experiences on public cloud and on-premise data centers as well. Globally, he is handling multiple cloud migration projects, and he's also spearheading the remote infrastructure management practice with 24/7 delivery operations. Specialized in hybrid cloud implementations and mastery over delivering quality services, he also leads a team towards continuous service improvement with delivering diversified automation technologies to customers for imparting cloud transformation. This webinar you can this webinar will enrich you with all the necessary ingredients and the questions that you have in your mind. Please put your questions in the chat and the question answer tab, and we'll get you answered in the last 30 minutes. So sit back and enjoy this webinar. Over to you, Mohan.
Thank you very much, Ananta. Hope I am audible. Before moving in detail about the functionalities of Azure, I just like to give a short brief about Kaar Technologies, and subsequently we will have a quick snap about the S4HANA functionalities. To talk about Kaar Technologies, the company founded in 2006 by four gentlemen who carried a huge SAP implementation experience before starting the company. Since the inception of company, we acquired multiple elite customers, and the success of the growth of company till now is basically from the successful customer and the experienced consultants that we have. By saying that, we are pure play SAP player, and we scale up ourselves along with SAP. Any latest innovation or technology that happens in SAP, and we are the first partner who acquired it. Who acquired the same functionalities and help to take the solution to the customers in first place in the market. By saying that, we offer different level of services, right, starting from S4HANA by design, and also different kind of public cloud and private cloud options. We have 750 plus deployed consultants, and 73% of consultants are certified in SAP. And we have executed 1,400 more projects and with the 250 plus customers. We scattered across 13 different locations globally. And we have the offshore SAP delivery team alone, more than 250 plus consultants. And we are SAP Gold Partner more than 10 years. And we also have gained huge industry experience, which is helping us to serve our customer better, especially in the verticals of oil and gas, public sector, conglomerate manufacturing, and wholesale distribution. Also in BFSI and retail. We have the premium customer in each vertical as a reference, and who gained the best implementation benefits. We also acknowledged by SAP every year as a best implementer, and which I will cover later slides in detail with the recognition that received. And also we have our own IP because we, being a pure play SAP player, we try to fill the gap with our own innovation and technology. Every IP products that we come up with is certified by SAP, and we sell it through SAP. By saying that, K10 is the evolving product, which is already created a revolution in the end-to-end conversion. This is the only tool that is available in the world right now to handle the end-to-end conversion of old SAP version to S4HANA. We also cited in Gartner. I'll try to give a quick snap of the numbers that we have as a customer and about the experience that we gained. We have 750 plus SAP consultants, and we have engaged 2,000 plus projects till now. And we have a happy 300 plus happy customers. 70% of our business happens in GCC. So we know what are the complete requirement and expectation from the customer belongs to GCC. And 20% of the SAP market share of partner comes from Kaar Technologies. So the GCC Total operation of SAP, 20% contributed by Kaar Technologies. Also, we have a 50 plus satisfied AMS customer to help their business to scale up with the latest functionalities that is introduced by SAP very frequently. KaarTech as company provide a different level of services in SAP. We help customers to move from the previous ECC that we call in old SAP to S4HANA. That's the latest intelligent ERP right now available. We do implementation, we do conversion, we also help customers to do the landscape transformation. And we help customers to transform their human experience management with the help of SAP's well-known products called Success Factors, Payroll and Time Management, as well as with the learning and recruitment, talent management suites. We also help customers with the CRM functionalities, financial supply chain functionalities, analytics, which is the revolutionary product that is happening in SAP arena. And we are happy to say last month we got the best innovator award for analytics domain in SAP. We are proud to say that. And also we help customer in complete cloud transformation along with Azure. And here we are. SAP every year picks the best implementation projects and provide give the best implementation award to the customer. This awards goes to customer, not for the implementer. However, we take the pride because we do the quality implementation. The SAP completely scrutinize to see what is the best parameter that is required for the best implementation. Every year since 2010, we are continuously bagging awards. Even in fact, a few years we have bagged more than one awards, as you see. And predominantly it goes for business transformation category. And that is the intention that every business wants to initiate the SAP project. So we are the proven partner in achieving the best implementation award every year. Why KaarTech? These questions come frequently. Selecting right partner is a very important factor to make the implementation successful and to get the complete value out of it. We are one of the largest pure play SAP player, and we also extended the location of company to West and APAC markets. And we are in SAP implementation service more than 13 years now. And we bagged more than 10 plus best implementation award from SAP continuously for last 10 years. And the company has implemented every patch of SAP. By saying that, S4HANA implemented in 2015, and every year the release happens with the additional functionalities. And KaarTech is one company implemented the functionalities every year continuously for different customers. And our consultants are certified, and we have an exclusive PMO office who ensure the success ratio of every implementation and every engagement that we get into with the customer. And CO office directly oversee the success of S4HANA implementation beyond the edge, and rollout upgradation experience completely in GCC with elite customer rights. We would say tier 1 companies, most of the tier 1 companies in GCC, and they are our customer. And also we have our own K10 product. That's the world only end-to-end S4HANA conversion accelerator. And we also closely work with SAP Innovation Lab. That is the department of SAP who creates a solution and enhance their product. We also closely work with them to help SAP to come fill the gap in the what they have within the product. So let's talk about KaarTech bond between SAP and Azure. How KaarTech can help? Yes, we are the one partner who provide end-to-end solution that is required to have embrace SAP for your organization. Being gold partner of SAP and also the premium partner of Azure, we help customer to run SAP in a right platform with the right size with the much better optimization that can happen during the course of implementation. And we offer from SAP and Azure to provide you the SAP license, implementation, and the SAP application managed service. Also, we help to deploy the SAP in Azure, and we provide the hosting service of Azure managed service. Also, we help a business to do the migration to Azure, and also we help to support business for the business continuity approach. Now, everything is moving from customer focused to customer centric. Being a sales driven engagement, days are gone. Now we have to keep add values to the customer. Every action that customer takes, reaping the value is very important, and that is where Kaar Technologies focus along with customers to make the SAP implementation more beneficial. Let's talk about why SAP. Everybody knows SAP is the number one ERP that is available in the world. Now SAP has evolved from the normal ERP to intelligent ERP through S/4HANA initiative, which gives you the instant real-time decision-making data, and with the help of in-memory technology and embedded analytics. The analytics now are inbuilt. There is no additional license or additional implementation is required. Those are come from the core implementation effort that will take to. And the SAP has completely reinvented and reimagined the process as well as the user interface of systems, and that gives high performance during the usage of system for the end user. And the SAP has enriched the user interface with the technology called Fiori application. Fiori is an Italian word called flower. So it was seamlessly clear, and this is so easy to use the system. And also the simplified architecture has been introduced for lower TCO. A lean data footprint, and there is no multiple tables and multiple data in different places. And it also helps to segregate and realign the data so easily with the S/4HANA. S/4HANA as a system is developed with the best industry experts in each domain. Right, starting from finance, manufacturing, asset management, supply chain, sales, procurement, so on. Everywhere the S/4HANA is implemented for the organization, and data has been collected, how much they are gaining benefit out of each sector. For example, let's take finance. Financial sector who implemented SAP are gaining 50 to 100% of reduction in forecasting errors, and 40 to 50% of reduction in books closing annual books, not monthly books, it's annual books, because that's quite difficult, and that much of effort and benefit SAP S/4HANA is providing to customers. And also 10 to 25% of reduction in account receivable management cost by sending the reminders automatically, dunning notice automatically. That kind of functionality also helping to reduce the account receivable management. So let's see about asset management. 10 to 15% of reduction is happening in asset service and maintenance cost. By having the proper preventive maintenance and scheduled maintenance and system, which is core functionality of S/4HANA, the communities are getting benefit up to 15% of reduction in the cost. So similarly for sales, companies are gaining benefit up to 10 to 20% of increased customer satisfaction, and the reduction in subscription invoice processing time, which is one of the cumbersome job for every organization giving invoice. SAP is helping them to reduce 30% of reduction in the delay happening in creating invoice. Like this, we have a huge set of benefits by implementing the S/4HANA for an organization. Let's move to S/4HANA functionalities. Single source of truth. What is the single source of truth? That the complete the table arrangements and data availability in the system has been reimagined and reprocessed with the latest technology in S4HANA to avail users so easily. So the single source of truth, the every information comes from one place, not in different places to do the manual reconciliation. No, it comes with one table and one places. Also, the reporting or analysis is not required to create something outside SAP. It's an inbuilt functionality of SAP that provides the reporting and analysis functionality in S4HANA. Also, accelerating the closing activities are much better and faster. In fact, it's 90% automated in S4HANA. Also, the highest granularity. The granularity is better because most of the functionalities are pre-configured and it's available readily in S4HANA system. So there are unique values of business, the reimagined business process and reimagined business models and for business decisions. This is completely changed when we implement S4HANA to any organization. The legacy process and the current process are huge difference that every customer face and realize the benefit because of S4HANA. Also, to continue the benefit, we also have the unique value for IT as a department by providing the best user experience to the users by reimagined the simplified system configuration with the easily retrievable data model that is available in S4HANA. Let me quickly talk about the high level scope item that is available in S4HANA. We call different modules that is available in S4HANA that we call finance and controlling is kind of one module, sourcing and procurement is one module, manufacturing, R&D, engineering, and human resources. There are a huge list of business processes, global scope items available standardly pre-configured in S4HANA. It comes as a package. Every organization required at least 4 modules. We say finance and controlling, sourcing and procurement, sales and distributions, and human capital management. Every organization requires. So this is where the complete ERP benefit is coming out of S4HANA. The accounting and the financial closing can happen in no time. After implementing S4HANA, by 2nd of every month, the previous month is getting closed in S4HANA, just in one day. The management sees the complete MIS report just in one day of time after the month end close. And the financial operations became very easy and transparent for the management and it's accessible easily. Same goes to sourcing and procurement as well. The sourcing, the confidentiality, the way SAP helps us to do the complete procurement cycle right from releasing strategy for purchase requisition and automatical approval in the purchase order. It all comes so easily available with the pre-configured system. And also same goes to manufacturing. For a different type of manufacturing processes are available for repeating manufacturing and discrete manufacturing. The seamless manufacturing process are available in S4HANA with the additional features of real-time approvals. So similarly, we can see about the supply chain, asset management, and sales as well. So for sales, everything now became handy and mobility. Right, starting from sale order to delivery and invoice, everything can be accessed in mobile. So the customer own transformation with S4HANA capabilities and benefit. As we said, there are a huge list of capabilities that is available with S4HANA, which no other ERP can provide right now. And the value can be realized in much faster, the cost can be optimized, and the growth can be accelerated, and the productivity can be improved in a drastic manner. So now I would like to hand over the session to Mr. Jamal to talk about why SAP on Azure. Over to you, Mr. Jamal.
Thank you, Mohan. Shall I share my screen from my side? Please, can you stop sharing from your end? Thank you. Let me know, please, if my screen is visible.
Yes, it is visible, Jamal.
Okay, excellent. So good morning, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to join us in today's webinar alongside Kaar Technology. I'm really excited to be with you today to share our latest updates with respect to our strategic alliance that we have with SAP and our system integrators in Qatar and in the region. Mohan covered really well the value proposition that SAP can bring to customers that are seeking to digitally transform their organizations and modernize the way they run their business. I'm going to cover in the coming 20 minutes how Microsoft, in alliance with SAP and Kaar Technology, can ensure that your experience that you will receive from the SAP S/4HANA system delivers the highest level of resiliency and robustness when it comes to operating your ERP system. So Microsoft and SAP's alliance or partnership goes very long back. It's almost 30 years old. But what happened over the past year and a half to 2 years is that a new agreement has been materialized between SAP and Microsoft. And the name of this alliance is Embrace. So many of you might have heard about the Embrace partnership over the past few months. I'm pretty sure you might have read about it online. But what I really want to achieve today in this presentation is to show you in concrete manners what are the actual benefits that you will get out of this Embrace partnership. So let me start first by walking you through the key pillars of the Embrace partnership. Embrace is basically the definition of the alliance that Microsoft and SAP has ventured into to run SAP S/4HANA and SAP's microservices known as the SAP Cloud Platform on Microsoft Azure. And with that, this will allow you to achieve three main things. Number one, we seek to transform our customers from legacy organizations or legacy workloads to the latest and greatest breed of technologies with both S/4HANA and Azure. Number two, we seek to make you a very agile and efficient organization. What does this mean practically? Today, we saw how several companies managed to respond successfully when the pandemic struck by shifting their line of business from brick and mortar operations to online, while others have struggled to do the shift, or it took them much longer time because they didn't have the technology stack ready to allow them to do that. So with Microsoft Azure, S/4HANA on Microsoft Azure will make sure that you will have the scalability needed to do that. And last but not least is digitization. And this is really where the partnership comes alive by blending the SAP microservices known as the SAP Cloud Platform with S/4HANA on top of Microsoft Azure in order to cut down on all the paper-based operations that you have, classical operations that you have, and move them completely to a digital model. So the foundations really of this partnership, when you get on board the Embrace program, you will realize that there are four key engagements that will start taking place. Number one, you will realize that both Microsoft's team and SAP's team, alongside the system integrators such as Kaar Technology, will create a joint market-approved roadmap for you in order to ensure that you will be running your SAP S/4HANA environment on the best practice topography. We will be creating a reference architecture. So this will be agreed upon jointly between SAP's pre-sales team and Microsoft Services team to make sure that the blueprint that will be developed under which the implementation will take place is also based on best practices of both companies. With Microsoft and SAP under the Embrace program, You will also have the opportunity to benefit from assessments that will happen on both sides of the business. So from a business perspective, we will do a business value proposition discovery workshop in order to see how the business is operating at the time being, what are the key challenges that are facing the business, and how we can help in overcoming these challenges. And also from a technical perspective, we will assess the current infrastructure that is powering the company's operations, and also give advice on how we can streamline it and make it more robust. And last but not least, in the Embrace partnership, we will ensure that the platform which you will be running is optimized and tailor-made for SAP S/4HANA implementations in order to make sure that you don't face any issues in the future as you run your ERP platform. So the Embrace initiative benefits, there are really 5 key benefits that will materialize out of the Embrace initiative post running your SAP instance on Azure. So the ones that I described before are or take place in the pre-sales piece, right, before we actually kickstart the deployment. But after the deployment is done and you are up and running, you will be continuously in touch with the teams of Microsoft and SAP from an engineering perspective to keep your team up to date with the latest roadmap, updates, or rollouts that are expected from both vendors. We will continuously be working together on watching what are the changes in the market and the economy which are impacting the industry that you are in, and how both Microsoft and SAP can help capture the opportunity that is out there by enhancing the platform that you are running. As we get deeper into technology with AI and cognitive services, you will also be getting a technology roadmap from Microsoft and SAP on what are the best practices that are coming up in the near future in order to enhance your experience with Microsoft. And last but not least, we will create a strategy and a vision plan, again, which will be a key roadmap for us to follow as we take you in your journey and to achieve the digital transformation objective that we have set forth together. So what does the engagement approach look like? As soon as we identify the Embrace opportunity, Microsoft, SAP, and Kaar Technology will work together in an alignment perspective to set the stage for both the customer and the system integrator on the Embrace roadmap. So as soon as the alignment is done and we have put all the formalities together, we immediately start with the discovery workshops. As I mentioned earlier, these discovery workshops are split into 2. One has to do with the business drivers and the strategy, and the second one has to do with the technical architecture and infrastructure. Now, if as a client or as a customer, you are an existing SAP customer, you might be running a legacy, let's say, SAP instance, such as ECC. We work together on defining a best practice migration path in order to ensure that your ECC instances are upgraded to S/4HANA, leveraging the best of breed practices from both Microsoft and SAP. If you are a non-existent SAP customer, then we work together in designing the best practice solution for S/4HANA with the microservices that come from SAP and the Microsoft Azure topography to ensure that you will be having a seamless deployment when you kickstart the implementation. And then when everything is laid out for us from a planning perspective, we do a final checkpoint to make sure that all the components are laid out with the right timelines in place. And then finally, we kick this off with the deployment that, again, will be both carried out by the system integrator, supported by Microsoft and by SAP. So that's how the engagement looks like from day one to the kickoff date of the deployment. Usually this takes between 30 to 45 days from the time the agreement is signed between both the system integrator and the customer. Let me go a little bit deeper into Microsoft Azure as a platform. So many organizations might have some misconceptions around cloud from a costing perspective and from a spending perspective. And although the benefit of CapEx versus OpEx is pretty evident, but some customers, when they are doing their total cost of ownership studies, they might see that over, let's say, a 5-year period or 7-year period, the total amount of money that they will be spending on cloud is actually much more than on-prem. This is where we come to guide our customers, and especially the customers that are or will be running SAP, on the best practice optimization techniques that we can have on Microsoft Azure in order to make sure that you really get the highest level of ROI out of your spending with Microsoft. So when we look at cloud in general and Microsoft Azure in specific, there are two optimization techniques that we usually work together with the system integrator and SAP in implementing in order to make sure you get the best bang for your buck when it comes to running your workloads on Azure. So the first optimization technique is known as snoozing. As the word implies, snoozing a virtual machine is basically putting it in sleep mode whenever that instance is no longer required. So I'll give you a very simple example. In the SAP usually deployment topography, you have different types of applications ranging from quality, dev, and of course production. If you look at the quality or dev instances, for example, these will not be needed to be running 24/7, right? Or 365 days a year. So instead of having those running all the time, which will definitely cost you more money, what we tend to do is to go with a mix and match approach, whereby the full production instances will definitely be running all the time. Those will not be snoozed, as they will be required to make sure the operations of the business are running fine. While the quality and the dev servers or virtual machines will be snoozed, for example, outside working hours, and this can help usually save between 60 or 70% of your total Azure bill. Another technique which we use in optimizing Azure cost is reserved instances. So as the name implies, reserved instances is when you reserve, or let's say commit on utilizing a certain virtual machine over a period of either 1 year or 3 years. And based on that commitment, the price per, let's say, hour of utilizing this virtual machine will drop. And this usually helps achieve between 40 to 65% cost savings also on these instances. So if you want to look at the big picture here, going back to the point that I mentioned earlier about having 3 types of virtual machines, the quality, the dev, and the production. For quality and dev, we usually leverage the snoozing approach. And for production, since those would be the more stable, long-term running virtual machines, we go with the reserved instance model. And this usually helps our customers achieve the highest level of return on their investment when it comes to Microsoft. I also want you to bear in mind one thing. Even though we have talked about optimization, I also don't want us to forget the concept of scalability that we can achieve with Microsoft Azure. So think of a typical, ERP deployment roadmap. It might take, on average, let's say 6 to 8 months for an implementation to be completed before the organization goes live. So if you are still in the implementation phase, whereby you don't really need production instances, there is no need for you to be paying for production instances from day one. We will only start by provisioning the development and quality instances for the system integrator to start deploying your SAP application and doing the necessary customizations. And then when you are ready on the 8th or 9th month, this is where we provision the production instances and we scale up. This allows us to go from the basic computing power needed to run your environment to the, let's say, required or recommended capacity needed in order to move smoothly. And of course, if during the course of the subscription, you realize that there is a virtual machine or an instance that has higher specs than what is needed, you can scale this down whenever you need and get a refund for the difference between the price of the high-end VM and the lower-end virtual machine. So Azure is really the ideal platform to run SAP's solutions for for various reasons, many of which I've mentioned already. But the last three that I want to emphasize on is the availability or the wide range of available certified instances for SAP S/4HANA. We have more than 10 different virtual machines that are certified for S/4HANA with different sizes that can go up to 24 terabytes of RAM in certain instances where you might find yourself in need of scaling up. We have very high performance storage capacity also on our certified HANA instances, powered by our premium SSDs and ultra SSD disk storage. When it comes to connectivity, even though, for example, your SAP infrastructure might not be hosted in the country in which your office is headquartered in, if you face any latency challenges with the regular internet connectivity that you have from your telco provider, we can leverage Microsoft Azure Express Route, which will give you a dedicated connection from your offices to the Microsoft Azure cloud. This will ensure optimal performance and minimal latency when it comes to the time it takes for users to connect to cloud. And of course, last but not least, it's the compliance and security standards that we have framed together with SAP to ensure that all your data is confidentially stored, secured, and compliant with the global ISO regulations, as well as the region of operations that you are based out of, to make sure that there are no violations when it comes to any legal complications. So with that, I would like to hand it over back to Kaar Technology to discuss their capabilities as an implementation partner for SAP on Azure.
Thanks, Jamal. Jamal, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we can see it, Alago.
Yeah, that's great. Good morning, everyone. This is Alagu. Let's say the next part is going to be an implementation partner part, so that how we are going to do the implementation and what the benefit you get it from us as a SAP partner, as well as an Azure partners and SA integrators. So let's say while coming to the implementation as well as the deployments, there's a bigger question comes into their mind that's stating how we are going to do and how we are going to manage these many partners and these many customers, these many products. So as a Kaar, we have an implementation set up with all the requirements what you have in a single client. Let's start from infrastructure and cloud deployments. We are an L1 SAP specialist where we do SAP implementation throughout a decade right now. And we have a tailor-made SAP workflows towards all the models we deployed. Even in on-prem, cloud, wherever we go, we do an SAP implementation for a decade right now. So that much of a well-vested SAP team and SAP deployment team is available with us for an SAP deployments. And next one is then SAP implementation. If you come for an SAP, we are a SAP Prime partner, Prime implementation partner for a decade right now. So we have an extensive deployment team for SAP backend, and we'll do the host and backend hosted environment for SAP on Azure on more than a complex setups itself. So we have a seamless integration between the customers and the servers and the on-premise. If a customer go for a hybrid model or a customer go for a cloud model, we have an end-to-end solution team which is having hands-on experience on the model deployed to it. And if you said on infra and managed services, the next part, the biggest challenge that come for the customers is the next two line items, that is an infra cloud management services and AMS for SAP. So as a partner, we have a plan for a solution for this. We are taking care of the end-to-end implementation and solutions for the customers on the managed services itself. So we are running an intelligent team who works on SAP hands-on on the infra team with the 24/7 support services. So this team has a knowledge of an SAP, how a SAP works on. So if say other partners or other vendors who goes and in the industry, they know only what is the infra does. But here the team knows how the SAP runs on. So the infra team will manage the SAP solutions as better than anyone in the industry. And if you go to the SAP AMS, again the team where it's a collaborative team, we work together with the SAP managed services as well as the infra managed services. So these two teams are together, sits in the same place, and also the account management team, and all together they are managing the single and for a single solution for a single customer. So let come back to the final stage of continuous improvement. This is where the real complex and real requirement from the customers comes in. We have a team where do a continuous improvement, as Jamal said, how the SAP and how Azure comes to you and encourage and estimate you how the roadmap is going to be and how the next layer of improvement is going to be. The same way, there is another continuous improvement team where we sit together and we found out if a customer, say, a customer needs to do an infra audit or a customer goes for an ISMS audit, there is a team where already been ready to do the assessment and the implementation for you in here. And also, if customers go for the next level technology, let's say RPA, that is robotic process automation, or a risk assessment, wherever the technology you're looking for, there is a team that sits there and get ready and do the deployments for you, and they are already well-vested deployed teams available for you. So as a car, as I said, if you say the main core parameters of infra deployment and SAP deployment and cloud managed services and SAP managed services and into the continuous improvement, all together a single team or a single ownership will be there. So end to end is being managed and maintained by a single partner. And what are the additional cloud offering we can do is let's as I said, we do an end-to-end solution. So if you said as a car, it's a single class of client where you can get your end-to-end solutions on a single partner itself. Let's say from the hosting, managed services, network managed services. If you have a storage, if you need a storage requirement, we do the storage deployment as well as the storage management and all together. And patching, the patching is comes under the biggest task in the managed services. So we manage both the SAP patching as well as your operating system patching. So we merged with the team and we found out which is the OS version is released, which is the compatible version with SAP, and what is the new updates available in Azure. So all we get into a straight line and we do the patch for you. So there is no hiccups, there is no backlogs, nothing will be going to be there. So it's all going to be work as a single team where you get a complete patch updates being available. And if you said backup management services, it's a backup management services. Again, it comes under both the parts. It's from infra as well as from SAP. It's both taken care by the Kaar team. What's the best backup solution is available in Azure. We collaborate with Azure team and make sure that your SAP backups and your infra backups are all together available all the time. So that much of continuous thing you can get it from our team. And as I said, we have a 24/7 monitoring team where we sit there and we give a specialist portal access for even for your SAP HANA replication itself. You can see it in the portal. And there's a team which is available 24/7 to support you on all the queries what you have. And as Jamal said, what we do next? Let's say as a current infrastructure, I'm having an end user, I'm having my infra, I'm having my customer has his own team for managing the services, and they have IT personnel all together, sit in a single room and they're doing the services. So where we makes a difference? So let's say the only thing is the end user is going to be connected to the office. That's the final stage where we going to looking for. So the Kaar support team will do the support, and we have a specialized ITSM team as well as tool services. So where you can log your tickets, your alerts, everything will be managed in a single location, and cloud is being provided by Azure. So only you are going to do, you just connect your users and start the operations. So how we are going to do these operations and how we are going to connect this? There's two major operations we can, two major migrations we can do. One is by using Azure's native tools and by using native methodologies, that is application native methodologies. Let's say from Azure, we can do it by ASR or Azure Migrate, whatever is the best way we can as Jamal said, we have to go for an explore phase and see what is the best we can do for you, and we can analyze the things, because the team where we sit here, we know how this entire system works on. So we define which are the things that goes through which type of migration. And again, if we go for an application layer and see if it is an SAP or Oracle or SQL or Postgres, whatever the DB you name it, we have an expertise team we sits here, and we know how this application really works on Azure based on our deployment experience. So we can suggest you the exact path how we are going to do this migration, and we'll define you where the path starts and how it's going to be connected to the users by the both ways, by from the Azure as well as from the application or from the SAP team or whichever the part you mentioned. So let's say, as Jamal said, is not only for the SAP part. Let's say I have two different products. One is for SAP and another one more product I have. You don't want to hesitate. There is a team is available for with us where we can migrate smoothly both of your applications to Azure and give you a confident that a single client can manage your entire workloads and your entire solutions toward in Azure.
Yeah, I'll go here. Allow me to mention something. So
Yes,
for
Jamal, please.
anyone who is interested in getting a report, right, which allows you to have visibility on what we call your cloud migration journey, be it an SAP cloud migration journey or a data center migration journey. Microsoft is extending with KaarTech, alongside KaarTech, what we call tailor-made assessments that our customers can benefit from, depending on your area of interest. So if you are currently running an on-premise instance of SAP, be it ECC or even S/4HANA, we can do a SAP on Azure migration assessment. And the Microsoft team, alongside Kaar Technology, will work on a discovery workshop to determine the best practices that should be followed to migrate to cloud. If you are running other non-SAP instances, we can go with a generic data center migration assessment in order to give you the same roadmap. And the last one, if you are more interested in securing your infrastructure, we have a cybersecurity assessment that we can also extend through Kaar Technologies with the support of the Microsoft Services team, in order to give you also a roadmap on how you can better secure your environment.
Yeah, thanks, Jamal. Anand?
Yes, we have a few questions here in the chat. It is answered, but Mr. Ahmad Mohammed asked to all the panelists that does reserving instances include reserving storage and networking components and blobs for backup as well for the instance? Or he's also asking, I mean, do we get this discount on these components along with the discount on instances as well? Can somebody answer this question?
Jamal, I'll take it or can I take it?
Yeah, I can address this point. So yes, we've recently introduced a reserved instance also for storage. In the past, it was only for the virtual machine, but now you can reserve the storage and the VM. On the networking components, no, this is not available. But again, bear in mind that networking components are on a pay-as-you-go model, because it depends on how much data you will be utilizing when accessing your services on Azure. One other point which I want to mention that you just reminded me of, since you were talking about the discounts, is that on Microsoft Azure, we have something called Azure Hybrid Use Benefits. So if you are running, for example, an SAP application on an SQL database, let's say, and you prefer to own the SQL license instead of renting it through Azure, then you can buy this SQL license and host it on the Azure virtual machine, which will grant you a discount on the Azure VM. And just last week, we actually introduced this model also for open source licenses. So if you have a Red Hat license that you own or a SUSE Linux license that you own, you can move those licenses from on-prem to Azure without spending again for these licenses on Azure. So those can also help you in achieving higher cost.
Yeah.
Any other
So
question, Anand, from the?
from Mr. Mudasar, we have a question. Can you brief us about any S4HANA client in Qatar running on Azure Cloud?
Yes, we actually have plenty of S4 HANA clients that are running on Azure. I mean, ever since our partnership kickstarted almost a year and a half ago, we have now around 10 customers that are live on S4 HANA on Azure. All of them were actually fresh deployments. They come from various industries. We have from manufacturing to retail, oil and gas as well, and trading and contracting. And usually, the primary benefit, I would say, that these customers realized, especially with the blockade that was taking place in Qatar and the pandemic which broke out, is the time to market, right? In other words, the time they saved to start the implementation as compared to buying, hardware or servers on-prem. I also saw another question, by the way, about why should we go with Azure if SAP has their own managed cloud environment? And I saw Mohan responding to this over the chat window. I also want to mention one thing. Usually, some customers prefer to have ownership over their environment and infrastructure, and they don't see Azure only as a cloud platform to run SAP, but also to integrate other non-SAP applications with their ERP. And thus they can also have this running fully, on the same platform, fully integrated seamlessly without any challenges when it comes to communication between those applications. And also one more thing which you need to bear in mind is that the microservices that SAP have from its SAP Cloud platform also run on Azure in the background. So when you have all of these running on the same platform, it will definitely deliver a much better experience. Unfortunately, I cannot disclose the names of these clients without their consent on this platform, but I'm more than happy to discuss with you one-on-one offline and probably connect you with some of these customers for you to get your feedback from them on their experience so far with S4HANA on Azure.
There's one more question from Mr. Mudasar. Is S4HANA deployment in Azure comply with the Qatar government cloud security policy?
Yes, that's a good question. So Microsoft has announced in the last KitCom exhibition the partnership that we have with the government of Qatar and the state of Qatar, which ultimately resulted in an agreement to open 3 Microsoft Azure data centers in Qatar that will be not only, by the way, available for Qatar customers, even our customers in Kuwait and Oman and Bahrain. Around the world, they can use those data centers to run their services. And these hopefully will go live in November 2021. But because both Microsoft and the government knew that it's going to take time for these data centers to go live, the government of Qatar has approved 2 data center locations in Europe. One is in Amsterdam and the second one is in the Netherlands. And you can rest assured that if you are hosting your SAP S4HANA application in these 2 data centers, it's as if you are running them in Qatar. They have been fully vetted by the ministry to comply with all the cloud security policies in the country.
Yes, we have one more question from Mr. Ahmed Mohammed. Could you please brief about the strategies to reduce the production downtime when we migrate from SAP to Azure?
Can you come again? Sorry, with the question.
Could you please brief about the strategies to reduce the production downtime when we migrate SAP to Azure?
Yeah. Alagu, would you like to address this?
Yeah, sure, Jamal. Let's say if it's a production downtime, it's all in the plan. Let's say if we have a very lesser downtime based on the sizing of what the database you have. Let's say I'm having 100 GB of database on HANA or some other products or Oracle or MS SQL. We can do a replication from here to Azure and build the servers and activate the servers as a DR servers, and we can do a live migration on it. So it will reduce the downtime of your servers. It's all predominantly depends upon the final cutover time and the size of your database. So we can we can plan a better downtime, lesser downtime on the migration of Azure. There's options available. We can do it. So even for 600 GB of HANA, we do it in 3 to 4 hours. It is fully depends upon the size of your database.
Yeah, attendees, you can post in questions in the chat and the question and answer window.
I also have something to share with our attendees. And again, I would like to thank them for taking the time to join the webinar today. Usually one of the best practices that we leverage to support organizations in the cloud journey is to go with what we call a proof of concept, right? And with Kaar Technologies, we are offering for any one of you who is interested to test Azure, free credits, which you can send as a request to Kaar Technology team after this webinar, so that we can avail them to you and we can start jointly running a proof of concept on Azure for any workload that you prefer. It can be either a website, it can be a database, it can be an application, and we can see together the performance. We can discuss, the roadmap to migrate other applications as well if that proof of concept goes successfully. In order to give you a peace of mind, before moving your full data center to Azure.
Yeah, so I think the questions are all answered, and attendees, thank you for taking your time today to attend this webinar. And in case if you have any more queries or assistance that you need from the experts, you will get it answered through personal mails, or we can have conversations post this webinar as well. So thank you for joining today, and have a good day. And we will get in. Okay. Okay, there is one question from Mr. Ali Saad. Can Azure be added to SAP Business One, or it's limited to S/4HANA only?
No, definitely. Azure can work with SAP Business One, and we have, if I recall correctly, more than 2 clients in Qatar that are now running SAP Business One on Azure for the past 2.5 years. Again, remember that Azure is an open cloud platform. It can run anything. So yes, whether it's Business One or S/4HANA, it works flawlessly on both applications.
Okay.
Now, any other questions that we have from the audience?
Yeah, it is all answered, and we can wind this session. So we will get in touch with them post this webinar anyways. So thank you all for attending today's webinar, and have a good day. So we can close this session here.
Thank you.
All. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, team.
Thank you all.